Kyle Fletcher and Okada opening the show. Statement match, flex match. Was it an upset match? Some were saying. Kyle Fletcher picking up the win over Kazuchika Okada. Okay, Zubes. To me, this was a very Okada match in the bad way, which is say I liked the beginning of this way less than everybody. It really got there for me, and I ended up loving this, and this is why I mean it was very Okada, where it grew to its maximum potential by the end, and when they were both going, I thought it got outright outstanding. But they were doing some very like floaty sort of Ricochet Osprey grappling in the beginning, and I thought maybe I don't know, feeling each other out's even right, but sort of soft all over. But then when they really got into it, the crowd was so hot for this. They want the C2 to deliver, and they're being shown sort of, okay, here it is, cards on the table. This is what this is going to be. Two huge names in the company squaring off. I love it from a booking standpoint of giving Kyle Fletcher basically the best rehab after losing the title that you could, beating Okada in the opening of the C2. Doesn't hurt. So, Zoops, what did you think of the choice to have Kyle Fletcher win here? Did you see it coming? And what did you think of the match?
Okada, for better or for worse, is kind of the representative of this tournament. He is sort of like Okada is here, and the unspoken promise of the C2 is like you're getting actual Okada for this. You're not going to get half-interested Okada. You're not going to get sleepwalk Okada. You're not going to get third gear Okada. You're getting the guy, the Rainmaker, if you will. So I sort of think like how he goes will in some way be how the tournament goes. And I think it was very smart. It reminds me of the G1 in that, like, if you're somebody that's super into the G1, you know this, I think, quite well, is like night one is always a must watch. The night one is always a great main event. It's always one of the most enticing matchups. And then you'll have those nights sprinkled in between where there's some good stuff and some not great. But this was like, yeah, night one, match one is a statement. Is a huge thing. So I really like this decision. I can't even tell you how many times over the legitimately what we've been doing episodes for 5 years, 50, over the 250 times we've done this show together, you and I want a hot match to start the show. It's like it's not too crazy of an ask, I don't think, from me. I wanted to start the show with a hot match, and they did that. The slowness out of the beginning and it being a little bit the Okada match, they are able to excuse it, and they do sort of excuse it away, but like, hey, they're both in the Don Callis family. They even do a little like high five handshake early, so it's like you're able to explain it away a little bit. Would I have loved it to have been pedaled down the whole way? Absolutely. The takeaway I had from this was like Kyle Fletcher obviously is the takeaway, I think, from a lot of this stuff. But like how quickly and how rapidly, I think over the course of, I don't even know, maybe less than a year, maybe a year and a half, because I guess he was this guy last year in the tournament as well, how much Kyle Fletcher is now in the roster spot of like, oh, if you want to see if a guy is like able to capital G go right now, you put him in there with Fletcher. It's like he has really taken that mantle on what I think when the company started was Omega. And then when I think the company was in its adolescence was Osprey. Now I think it's Kyle Fletcher is that guy of like, people are going to come in and want to have their Kyle Fletcher match. And I think sometimes you and I and people who watch the show every week, I'll give Kevin Knight as an example, as a guy who's getting it right now, who is a guy that has gotten, there's always been a couple guys throughout the course of the roster where it's like, we want to see the potential. We want to see the rise. We want to see the next step get taken. Fletcher's a guy that really quickly proves that it can be done pretty quickly. It can be done with just a few good turns and a good feud and a good thing here and there. I think you were really eloquent in the post show of Full Gear about like how quickly Mox is able to turn that around for Kyle O'Reilly. I feel like Kyle Fletcher is a recipient of that. Of like, I think sometimes we get fooled into being like it has to be like a 4 or 5 year step thing. It doesn't really have to be though, because like AEW's roster is full of guys who've been doing it for a really long time, full of guys who are capable of doing it at a really high level. You just need like 1 or 2 feuds where somebody he's against is dedicated to getting him there. And look at how quickly Fletcher is now a guy that it's like he's the top end TV pay-per-view work rate. You got to see this 5-star banger match guy.
Yeah, super well said there, Zubes. I love what you said in the beginning about how he's almost an attraction where people will want to wrestle him, like the Omega and Ospreys before him. And I'll just let people know right now, December 18th will be our year-end show, and very excited to have that discussion. And December 4th, 2 weeks before that, will be our year-end survey going out. And I think Kyle Fletcher's name is going to be all over both of those things, Zubes. So put it in your calendar, because the year-end show isn't on podcasts. It isn't on VOD. You got to be there December 18th. But I suspect that the results of that survey are going to have Kyle Fletcher aplenty. And that's just super exciting to me, like having this guy at this age. And you never know, and this is based on nothing, but he feels like he's going to stay in AEW to me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do. Doesn't feel like a guy who's begging to have his style changed and watered down and made into more entertainment and wants to be a character, you know?
We got no Rock!
That's basically the truest thing you could say about the entire situation. Thank you, Florida Panthers, Marlon. Lots of love for you spitting there in the chat, Suits. Can we just get a ton of the spitting Vince Russo heads? I see I saw them percolating, but them flying when Zubes is spitting is, I'm in my Vince Russo era, so it makes me happy. I have no other way to put it. As they're just suggesting he may leave AEW for JCW, and who can blame him? You should be hosting this show, because that's a better point that I'll make all night.
We might too. I mean, who's to say? The Vince Russo spitting had an unbelievable debut week last week. Is rapidly, you talk about the year-end show, rapidly climbing the charts for emote of the year.
Well, and you got to think Vince Russo's just in talks for most improved, breakthrough, like all these categories. The brand.
And I will say, you said December 4th. That's next week, man. That's next Thursday.
Dude. Shit. Makes me just insane to consider. Crowd was super into this match. It was great to see. They were hot all night, but it's nice to see them given a reason to get hot and be hot for it. Here's Okada versus Fletcher. C2 has started, and they answer the call.
Hey, it's me. Please subscribe to our channel. There's no one worse at YouTube than us. We need your help. Hit subscribe, hit like, tell a friend. Wrestling fans know wrestling fans. We appreciate it so much. Love and energy.